does the Sastri apply to you? Number one, mood and mission. So the question we will emphasize Prabhupada, how does this section relate to Prabhupada's mood and mission? Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Sorry.
Sorry, Prabhupada.
Which is written already.
We could do that. We could do that. Yeah, we could do that. I'll ask Deepa Datri Mataji from previous years, as long as it's not the same questions as previous years. Which I think it is actually, but we can try to do that. And how many words is it? We remember how many words? 5 to 600. Yeah. Please don't do more.
3,500.
Yeah, we've got a lot of them. Okay. All right. Any questions? Okay. Let's have some. I have to remember to relate to one online as well. Hare Krishna. Look at it. So let's just have some quick, a couple of quick points from last week. What did you take home with you last week, apart from the admin side? What did we look at last week? So you can field online, not thing.
The different types of assignment, open book, closed book.
No. I'm meaning from the introduction or the preface.
We talked about
introduction or preface.
70%.
There's something on chat. Yeah. Someone in the room has 2 mics on massive echo now. Is that me? Or is it? Sachikamani Nimai. Yeah.
I was just going to say, somewhere it mentioned mankind, and it was clear that when it refers to man, it also includes woman.
Oh, that was Sachikamani's question. Yeah. But anything about the content?
We talked about the 5 elements of Bhagavad Gita.
5 subjects of Bhagavad Gita. Quick, let's get them.
Jiva,
Karma, Prakriti, Kal. Yeah, great. Thank you. Yeah, we're clear on that one. Anyway, let's have a couple more flashbacks from last week.
Prabhupada saying that one of the reasons for him having to write this Bhagavad Gita is that when he was looking for a Bhagavad Gita to recommend to other people, there was not one that he could recommend.
Yeah, great. Yeah, that's in the preface, I think. Yeah, well done. Yeah. Something else.
Also, we watched the video with Ramananda.
Ramananda, yeah. And he was taking us through the first printing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Macmillan.
Yeah. How Prabhupada had told him just go there, or so just tell them that you have the Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah. And then he was disappointed because it was just a clerk who had invited him for his own personal thing. But then the head of the whole company happened to walk in charge of Macmillan, and he wanted a Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, wonderful. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, please, someone online?
I will.
Yeah, Bobby.
We talked about Sanatan Dharma.
Sanatan Dharma, yeah. I think
the
Bobby...
nature of true religion, the eternal religion, the relationship between soul and super soul, as opposed to I am a Muslim, or I am a Christian, or I am a this or a that.
Yeah, thank you, Bobby. That was also your question. I think you answered that question very nicely last week as well. So
thank you so much.
Yeah, Sanatan, very important point to understand when we're presenting Krishna consciousness, especially in today's day and age. Seems people are becoming more kind of, what do you call it, more attached to their particular country, no? Palestine or whatever, you know. So, yeah. So we are all spirit souls, whether we are Palestine or Israeli, Ukrainian or Russian, we're all spirit souls related to Krishna. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Hare
Krishna, anyone else online?
Yes, Hare Krishna. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
So we also talked about the 5 rasas or the relationship we have the Supreme Lord in
Yeah.
the passive state, in active state, as a friend, as a parent, or as a conjugal lover.
Yeah, Prabhupada spoke about that in relationship. He was elaborating on Arjuna's relationship with Krishna, which is friendship. Then he went on to say there are other relationships with Krishna. Yeah. Okay, and we only covered just a small part of the introduction. So I left it up to you in your own time to read through that. Okay. All right. So without any further ado, let's get into chapter 1. Okay. Now, one thing we didn't do last week, which we will do every week before we begin, we chant the Mangala Charan, which is found in the introduction to Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So most of us here probably know it. So I'm going to bring it up on slides here. If my slide thing moves. Let's see. Okay, all together. Om Gana Sarvasya Shalakaya Salakaya Chakshum Nilikam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Scha Shri Rupam Shagajatam Sahagana Vaganatam Vitam Tam Sivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vikam Scha He Krishna Guruna Sindhu Dhinabandhu Chakatmate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Raja Kanta Namostude Tapta Kanchana Dorangi Rajindravishwari Vishamanu Sudhi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakava Triyunischa Kripasu Devaja Parinam Pavebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we begin with that each week, okay? So the translation's there in the introduction. Yeah, good to become familiar with it if you're not familiar already. Okay. Right. So now the first question I'll ask is what do we have in common with Arjuna? Harini, yes.
He was, no, actually.
Nine.
We're both spirit souls.
He's a householder.
Both spirit souls, yes.
Subject to defect. Subject to defect.
So someone online was saying
Yeah, he's a householder.
He's a
at least.
okay. It's true for some, but it's not for me. No, I'm looking for something else here. Confused, yeah. Arjuna was confused. This is the whole point of the Battle of Kurukshetra. And life also kind of brings confusions. It brings reversals. Yeah. Sometimes we're not sure what to do. Anyone been in that situation where you're not sure what to do? Yeah. Shall I turn left? Shall I turn right? Shall I say this? Shall I say that? Shall I have this job? Shall I do this? Shall I go here? So life is often a big confusion. So that's what we have in common with Arjuna going into the Bhagavad Gita. And that's why, interestingly, the Acharyas, they name this first chapter, which is called Observing the Armies, like just, yeah, they call it Yoga Through Distress. Okay. Vishada Yoga is interesting the way it's approached. Quest of yoga through distress. Okay. And where Krishna mentions also we'll be covering that. 4 types of persons who come to Krishna, Chaturva, Bhajanti, one of those, one is in distress. Okay. So quest for yoga. Yoga means to connect. Yeah, with Krishna. Right. So online? Yeah, please. Someone online
Hare
now?
Krishna. You said, what do we have common with Arjuna?
Yeah.
Isn't Prabhupada's answer to that the defects of an embodied soul?
Yeah, you could say
Teaching
that.
propensity and
Although Arjuna, he's a liberated soul, but for the point of communicating Bhagavad Gita, he was put into illusion. So on that point, you could say, yeah, you're right. But the thing I wanted to bring out is we share the same situation as Arjuna did. Yeah, that's why the material world is often a distressful place, you know. So quest for yoga through distress. Now we're going to just give you a summary of what's contained in the 2nd chapter. I think you have this slideshow I think you have it there. I think you can have access to it. Yeah. So if you're nodding your head, yeah. So it's there. Now, this has been quite nicely done. These slideshows, these PowerPoints on the Bhagavad Gita, and it gives what's called an acronym to help you memorize and understand the different sections of the chapter. All right. So this happens to be text. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Welcome, Hare Krishna. So text 1 to 11. We're going to begin with that. It's the comparison of the armies. O Sanjaya, Dharmakshetra Kurukshetra. What did my sons here? After my sons and the Pandavas assembled, what did they do? So that's going to take us from text 1 to 11. Okay. Then we have here, text 12 to 19. That's when things start to get really exciting. Right? The blowing of the different conch shells. And we're going to show a little video of that. Yeah. When these conch shells became uproarious. Okay, so that had different meanings, yeah. So that's from 12 to 19. Okay. Yeah, and then 20 to 27. Arjuna asks, please draw my chariot between the 2 armies. Yeah. This is a massive Kurukshetra is a massive plain, massive armies, and Krishna brought the chariot to a specific place so Arjuna could see who he had to face on the other side, and we discussed that. So that's 20 to 27. Right? And this is where we start to see Arjuna as a Vaishnava, as a devotee. Yeah, he sees and he starts to feel compassion. Yeah, he starts to doubt. Yeah, this is where his doubts come out. Yeah, so we'll be looking at that. And then I think finally we have, oh no, 2 more actually. Then Arjuna is going to bring up reasons for not fighting, which we're familiar with for those who read Bhagavad Gita. And these are good reasons. Yeah, these reasons are based on Sastra. Yeah, Dharma Sastra. So obviously, Krishna's going to bring Arjuna to a higher level. Yeah, so that's heritage. Yeah, and then I think one more we got. Oh yeah, a couple more. Yeah, of course. Oh, what happened then? Did we cover it all? I know. Yeah, we did. No, I think we missed one, no? Let me go back. Excuse me, sorry about this. Here we go, here. Sure to navigate thing, go ahead. No, I think we covered them. Conch, isn't it? Yeah, just see. Oh yeah, yeah, here, because he didn't mention that at this point Arjuna refuses to fight. This is at the end of the first chapter, and then begins the second chapter. Okay, so this hope you understand the breakdown of chapters, and we're going to each chapter will have an acronym to help you to understand. Okay, and as usual, any questions or anything you want to, any comments, please feel free to ask. Okay. All right, so. So the first chapter, I don't know if you have experienced the first chapter, when you meet people who have just get Bhagavad Gita for the first time, often they find it difficult, the first chapter, because it's got lots of big, long names. I've met people who have got Bhagavad Gita, but they don't get past the first chapter just because it's got long names. And they can't, for them, it's too much to get through. You know, it's such a shame, you know. So the first chapter is comparing of the armies, yeah. So the different names are given. As we know, I'm looking at devotees here, we all know the basic presentation of Bhagavad Gita. It's what's known as a fratricidal war. Anyone knows what a fratricidal war is?
Between families.
It's a war between family, known as the Kurus. Yeah, the Kurus. It's the fratricidal war between cousin brothers. You know. So, now, also, if you know the Mahabharata, who's read parts of the Mahabharata or read the Mahabharata? Perhaps I should say, who's watched the Mahabharata? Everyone's watched the Mahabharata. I used to watch it every Sunday before I joined the temple. On an old black and white thing. So excited to watch it every Sunday. Yeah, the Mahabharata. Yeah. Also, Bhagavad Gita is there. Mahabharata is full of diplomacy, full of politics. What other words can we find? Mahabharata. Full of intrigue. Huh?
Disagreement.
Disagreement. Sorry? Greed. Yeah. Anything bad that we find in the material there in the Mahabharata, you know. So this we're going to see, especially diplomacy and politics. This really comes out in the first chapter. Yeah. In the first chapter is a little look into the Mahabharata and the characters in the Mahabharata as well, you know. So therefore we have the first verse. Now, just one thing before we continue. This study and the study of the old books that we're doing is going to be an overview. Yeah, we don't have the time to get into every single philosophical point that Prabhupada brings up in his purports. Yeah, we will go through quite a few of them, but you'll find we don't have time to analyze every sentence of Prabhupada. Yeah. And I have to watch myself, because often when I give this Bhakti Sastri class, I start getting into every sentence in the purport. And you know, so it's going to be an overview, to give you an overview of the Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. And also go into some details of its presentation. All right. But if you see something, like some of you would have read through the first chapter, in preparation for this class, and you want to bring it out, and you think it's important, please bring it out. Yeah, because as we're teaching, it's good if you might have Bhagavad Gita with you. Prabhupada says this in the purport, so please do bring it out, and then we can discuss it. Okay, and also it's good to be familiar with the purports yourself, because the self-study questions are based on Prabhupada's purports. Self-study questions is what the questions for your closed book examination. Yeah, it's called self-study questions. So they basically come from Prabhupada's purports. Okay. That clear, everyone? Yeah. So now the first verse, interestingly, is not a required memory verse. Okay, I thought it would be. Etc. etc. Yeah. So the first verse you're required to learn comes in second chapter, 2:7. Okay. Now yeah. Okay. Now there is one point that Prabhupada brings out, and I am going to the purple here. I will go to the purple sometimes, quite often, but not too much. There's one point that Prabhupada brings out in the purple, which is not actually related to the subject of the first chapter. Can everyone have if you have your Bhagavad Gitas, you can look at that, see if you can identify it. Yeah, I've got it here. Yeah. Online as well, you can have a look in your Bhagavad Gita, purple to the first verse of the first chapter. Yeah, it's on. They got their first goal.
Was the one he says that you should read the devotee of Krishna and we'll hear the Bhagavad Gita from the devotee of Lord Sri Krishna. And
Okay.
And try to understand it without personally motivated interpretation.
It says that, yeah, okay.
Something
Okay.
like that.
Anybody else from purple? Yes, one of the principles he mentions in the introduction as well. To understand Gita, you have to understand it from someone who's devoted to Krishna. Yeah.
Everything that is contained within the other Vedas is contained within the Gita, but the Gita also contains other elements that are not in the other.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, everyone heard it. What's your good name?
Russell.
Russell. Yeah, thank you, Russell. Prabhupada says one will find in Bhagavad Gita all that is contained in other scriptures. And the reader will also find things which are not found elsewhere. This is the standard of the Bhagavad Gita. And he mentions it's the perfect theistic science. Why? Because it's directly spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. Yeah. So I've had that experience myself, that since studying Prabhupada's books, since studying Bhagavad Gita, I can appreciate now. Well, I don't read it. I haven't read it. If I might read tracts of the Bible, you know, you're able to understand others' religious practices. Yeah, because Bhagavad Gita contains everything, as it says here. Yeah, one will find in Bhagavad Gita all that is contained in other scriptures, and find things which are not found elsewhere. Okay, so Prabhupada begins. I think that's the first, isn't it? He begins that in the purple. That's how he opens up, you know. Yeah. Now we have Dhritarashtra is quite a prominent player in the Mahabharata. What's some of the qualities of Dhritarashtra? Envious. Lust. I guess it's there. Huh?
Determination.
You could say determined.
Selfish.
Sorry, online again.
Selfish.
Selfish. Yeah.
I think it says that he's spiritually blind, physically and spiritually blind.
Yeah, that comes up. Thank you, Bob. Yeah, he's blind physically. He's also blind spiritually. Yeah. And the actual word Dhritarashtra means one who usurps land. Yeah. And here, let me just make this so I can see something here. One who is possessed, one who usurps land, one who is possessed with power. Describe that Dhritarashtra, he was described as an egomaniac. Right. Now, he wanted to enjoy through his son. Yeah, his son. Yeah, Duryodhan. He had 100 sons, and the chief is Duryodhan. So he wanted like here. Mm. Yeah. Let's just read this here. And then Prabhupada gives as in a paddy field, the unnecessary plants are taken out. So it's expected from the very beginning of these topics that in the religious field of Kurukshetra, where the father of religion was Krishna is present, the unwanted plants like Dhritarashtra's son, Duryodhana, and others would be wiped out, and the thoroughly religious persons headed by Yudhisthira will be established by the Lord. So that's why this question is being asked, yeah, by Dhritarashtra. Yeah.
So did you say it's one who usurps the land?
Usurped means to take away.
Is it
Yeah.
usurp?
Usurped. Oh, usurped. Huh? Usurped, yeah, would be usurped. Yeah. So this is why Dhritarashtra is very concerned. This is why he's asking questions. What did they do? Yeah, because Kurukshetra is known since time immemorial to be a place of pilgrimage, and it plays a role later in Krishna's pastimes. So there will be great religious sacrifices were done on the plains of Kurukshetra. And also Parashuram, it has a whole history as well with Parashuram, yeah, but he made lakes of blood, isn't it? Is that right? Yeah, in a previous age. So because the Pandavas are pious, Dhritarashtra is very concerned about the influence of the battle of the place we actually have. Yeah, so he's very concerned about that. Yeah. So but because as Prabhupada says here, he gives the example of a paddy field. Because it's Dharma, etc., and Krishna, yeah, he is the supreme person himself. So he's very concerned. What did my sons and the sons of Pandu do? Now, here, now Dhritarashtra's mind is revealed here as well. Now, that's why we asked, what are the sometimes someone mentioned Dhritarashtra is very determined. Yeah, sometimes in Indian folklore, he's considered to be a hero. It's something, yeah, because he's blind. You know, he's given sympathy because he's blind. Yeah, but actually he's the main person behind the whole thing. Yeah, because it's from his doing and his scheming that his son is now playing this role. Duryodhana, as we know the Mahabharata, he didn't stop his son. So he's considered to be the chief of mafia don behind the whole thing. Is Dhritarashtra, as we mentioned, because he's blind, but he's also blind spiritually, which means he's attached. He's attached to his special Duryodhana. Yeah. And there's many instances where he was warned about his son, especially by Vidura, especially when he was born, when Duryodhana was born. He was braying like an ass, apparently. So Vidura, all those learned knew, they felt the inauspiciousness just by this birth. There was inauspicious symptoms all around, and his birth. So he asked the father, you should disregard this son. How he would do that, I'm not sure. But he told him, this person is a danger to the whole dynasty. Yeah. But because he was attached to his son, yeah, naturally in one sense. Yeah. So then he was supporting him throughout this whole
For clarification, probably, who is the chief protagonist? Is it Duryodhana or is it Dhritarashtra?
This is the point that's been made out here. Duryodhana is working is only under permission from Dhritarashtra. So that's, but Dhritarashtra is making out he's innocent. What did my sons and the sons of Pandu do? As if he's aloof from the whole thing. But he is empowered, he has turned a blind eye to his son's wrongdoing again and again and again.
Is he worse than Duryodhana?
You could say. You could say he is. Yeah. Yeah, so he is doing everything from behind. He's scheming, he's doing everything from behind. Because he can't enjoy the kingdom, he wants his sons to enjoy the kingdom.
Are they both mafia, or this one is the mafia and he's pushing his innocent son?
You could say it's a mixture of both. We do. Now the kingdom belongs righteously to who? The Pandavas. Yeah, naturally, but Dhritarashtra, so he's going to be king. So then we know whole stories. Then he wants his sons too. So he's the first person to speak. Yeah. Dhritarashtra Uvacha. Yeah. Damaksetta Kuruksetta Samavijyuksva Mamaka Pandavastiva Kimukavata Sanjay. Yes.
Did you say as well that you said that he's like entirely attached to his family, which is the same battle Arjuna goes through.
Is there?
It's the same battle Arjuna goes through. So like it's the same thing that Arjuna like goes through it instead of
Arjuna is also Krishna arranges, as we will see later in this chapter and beginning of the second chapter, that he is hesitant to fight because of bodily attachment.
Yeah.
So that comes out as well. But Arjuna eventually follows Krishna's instructions and does his duty.
So that's kind of what distinguishes really. Other than like the rest of their roles, that's like just what distinguishes the two. It's like Arjuna actually gets through it.
Well, he hears Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
He actually becomes he hears Bhagavad Gita from Krishna. Then he rises. Then he does his duty for Krishna because Krishna is willing it to be done. Yeah. Okay. And now there's something else here as well. See here. Mamaka Pandavas Jiva. Yeah. So here, what is the significance of Dhritarashtra saying Mamaka?
So,
Yeah, a bit more. You could explain a bit more.
so like, he never really, for his sons is everything, but like Pandava's sons, he really never really cared for them. Otherwise, this would have never happened.
Yeah.
So for him, it's like his son Duryodhana and others are way more important than Pandavas. So.
Yeah, so that's why he's saying Mamaka. Yeah.
Someone is raising hand.
Oh. Sorry?
Someone is raising hand.
Okay, you have to keep an eye on it. Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
So he shouldn't be making a distinction between. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Say.
I said he shouldn't be making it. We shouldn't be making a distinction between the sons of Pandu and his sons. He should be seeing them as one, but he's not. He's deliberately distinguishing them, which is a material distinction. Saying this is mine and this isn't mine. That's Maya. That's false ego.
Yeah. So remember, it's one clan. Is to Kurus. The first verse he says, Mamaka Pandavas, yeah, my sons and the sons of, so he's making a distinction. And that happens to be I should take you through your self-study questions. This is a self-study question which you have for chapter 1. The question is, what is the significance of Dhritarashtra saying Mamaka? Okay. And Prabhupada, and you see there in the purple, Prabhupada gives the answer. Yeah. Both the Pandavas and the sons of Dhritarashtra belong to the same family. But Dhritarashtra's mind is disclosed herein. He deliberately claimed only his sons as Kurus, and he separated the sons of Pandu from the family heritage. So it's all here in the first verse. Yeah. Mamaka Pandavas Cheva. Yeah. Also, Dhritarashtra was fearful, and we've mentioned that. That's the second question you have. Why was Dhritarashtra fearful? We mentioned it.
Krishna.
Yeah. Murli, yeah?
It's an auspicious place.
Yeah. You could say the same
Yeah,
thing?
maybe, no, I was saying maybe Krishna was on origin.
Yeah, he's probably concerned. He has other fears as well. Yeah. One of the big fears is Bhima. Yeah. But one of these fears is that because the battle was arranged to be fought at Kurukshetra, so he'd know that the Pandavas, they're very righteous. So he's a little bit hesitant. He's a little bit unsure. That's why. Yeah, and we'll let it come out in a minute. Yeah.
So the answer is because the Pandavas are righteous.
Yeah. So it would have an influence upon them. Yeah. Now, one thing he did hope, he was thinking that because the Pandavas are so righteous, when they come to Kurukshetra, then they renounce their claim. Yeah, he said thinking in order to avoid the bloodshed, So that's another why. Now he's speaking to who? Dhritarashtra. Yeah, he's speaking. So he's asking Sanjay, what did my sons and the sons of Pandu do? And there's a fourth question as well here. And this one's quite simple. Most devotees know this. Keep an eye online, because anyone online, what you can do if you have a comment online, you can just unmute, yeah, and just ask away, yeah, if that's easier. Now, how was Sanjay able to see the whole scene?
Sanjay was able to see because Rishi Vedvyas, he gave him divine eyesight.
That's it, yeah, and that's answered there. So that's a self-study question. So I'm telling you the answers to all the self-study questions there to help you. Okay. So how was Sanjay able to see the battlefield of Kurukshetra? Okay. Sanjay was a student of Vyas, Prabhupada writes, and therefore by the mercy of Vyas, Sanjay was able to envision the battlefield of Kurukshetra, even while he was in a room of Dhritarashtra. And so Dhritarashtra asked him about the situation on the battlefield. So he had spiritual television, yeah. He could see by mystic power given by Vyas, Okay.
So sorry, it's Vyas gave him the power to see them.
Yeah. Sanjaya is a disciple student of Vyasadeva. So he was relating the whole events to Dhritarashtra. Yeah. I think Dhritarashtra's in the kingdom, I think. He's not on the camp field, he's not on the battle, he's in there in the palace.
Sorry, Vyasadeva was the compiler.
Huh? Yeah, Vyasadeva, Sanjay is a disciple of Vyasadeva.
He's an incarnation as well, right?
Vyasadeva, he's an incarnation of Krishna for scribing the Vedas. Yes. All right. Yes, Sander.
Obviously, Arjuna benefits from hearing the Gita, and Dhritarashtra would have heard the Gita as well through Sanjaya. Correct? So how was Dhritarashtra affected by hearing the Gita?
Yeah, did Dhritarashtra, could they hear the Gita?
What's that?
They could hear the whole Gita, huh? Everyone on the battlefield. Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah. So you're speaking here. So, yeah, he's going through that. Yeah, well, Sanjay at the end, he concludes, got no hope. You got no hope. What's the verse he describes? Wherever there is Krishna, wherever there is Arjuna, But Dhritarashtra, again, he's spiritually blind. So he still didn't get it. Even after his sons had lost the war, even after they'd been defeated, he was still attached. Yeah. And only at the very end, when Vidura came to preach to him, when his brother came to preach to him, did he actually see the shortcomings of his involvement in the whole thing. And then he took up the last stages of his life. So that's why Dhritarashtra, he's blind spiritually. Yes, sorry, I misunderstood the question.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So, but everyone else on the battlefield, they couldn't hear the conversation, no? No, only Arjuna could hear it. Just
Four people, that's okay.
Who's the four?
Hanuman is one.
Yeah, Hanuman's on the chariot. That way come to. Yeah. That's why, yeah. That's why also in chapter 11, which is the universal form, Arjuna's paying obeisances around Krishna. And everyone's wondering what's going on. Yeah. Because they can't see the universal form either. Yeah. So I thought that's what your question was. Yeah, but Dhritarashtra, he's got front seat in one sense. So Sanjay's taking him for every day of the battle. Yeah. And as a side point, if you really want to, there's wonderful details of each day of the battle as well, and the twists and turns of the actual war. I think on the first day, the Pandavas fared worse. Fared worse on the first day. Yeah. And each day is 18 days. And there's quite some details about the different specific fights there was between the individuals. And there's one wonderful narration of this. It's called Those 18 Days by Chaitanya Charan. Yeah. And he takes you through each day of battle and the lessons to be learned. So you could find that for your added interest, how each day went in the actual battle. There's one day where they even fought through the night. Yeah, normally it's supposed to stop when the sun goes down, but they just carried on fighting through the night, just calling out their names and then, anyway, get the idea. Okay, so that's there. We won't be going, we'll just be going up to the beginning of the battle, okay? Just before.
One small point as well is that the rules are important as well. Sometimes people think that it's a fight or a war, it's like barbaric, like you see in the Hollywood movies.
Yeah.
It's quite principled, like you don't hit below the waist, you don't hit from behind, certain things like that.
Yeah, that was all arranged beforehand. The leaders of the armies, they spoke that through, but things got heated during the battle, and both sides overstepped. Both sides, at some points, they overstepped the rules of warfare, but not to the extent we see today, where there are zero rules. Innocent people are killed from the very beginning, But there was, you're right. There was, what's the Dharma Sastra it's called, isn't it? Is that right? Dhano Sastra. Dhano. Yeah, there is a Sastra that describes about warfare.
Doesn't Krishna set this?
Yeah, that's the whole, Krishna. He also broke his promise, nearly broke his promise. That's the whole detail, the whole Leela. But we get to that when we get to that point, okay? We'll speak that more, okay? That does come up, okay? Now here we got verse 2, you can see it here. So we mentioned that. You can see? Yeah, Raja. Now, here, the shoot here. So Sanjay, what he wants to do, he wants to, the place of the Dharmakshetra, Kurukshetra is very concerning for the king. So Sanjay, he's trying to encourage the despondent Dhritarashtra, So he's trying to show him that his sons there wouldn't be any compromise because of the influence of the holy place. So Sanjay, therefore, he's informing that his son, Duryodhana, now he sees the formation of the Pandavas. Duryodhana sees the formation of the Pandavas, and he's shocked. He's really concerned. Yeah. And so therefore, he goes to he goes to Dronacharya. Yeah. He once went to the commander in chief, which is Dronacharya, to inform him of the real position. Okay. So Duryodhana's the king, acting king, but he has to go to the commander on account of the might of the Pandavas. Now, although there is more actual hinis of the Kauravas, there is 11, isn't it? 11 actual hinis. Is it 11 or 12? And 7 of the Pandavas. But still, the armies who join the Pandavas and the personalities on the Pandavas side is very serious. And the first time, so when Duryodhana sees it, he goes to Dronacharya. Yeah. This is what Sanjay is speaking to Dhritarashtra, trying to encourage him. Oh, he's going to Dronacharya, you know.
Sorry, what was the word you said to describe? Is it 11?
Actual hini. Now, forget there's a number, and actual hini means certain amount of thousands of chariots, certain amount of elephant, you know, warriors. There was an elephant, certain amount of infantry, certain amount of foot soldiers.
Like phalanx.
Yeah, phalanx. Yeah. So the Pandavas were outnumbered. Okay. Now, but despite now, Duryodhana is a politician. Yeah, he's very expert. Yeah. So despite his kind of diplomatic veneer, he could not disguise the fear when he saw the military arrangement of the Pandavas. Yeah. So that's why here it says, O king, after looking over the army arranged in military formation by the sons of Pandu, King Duryodhana went to his teacher, Dronacharya, spoke the following words. Now, we won't be going through every verse like this, okay? We'll be summarizing some verses. But the first 2 or 3 verses brings out the diplomacy and the politics, yeah, and the expertise of Duryodhana in his politics, you could say. So then you got
What is Raja?
huh?
What is Raja?
King, king, yeah. Now here, Duryodhana is now he's speaking to Dronacharya. So he's saying, "Oh, my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple, the son of Drupad." Now that's full of politics as well. Yeah, because the son of Drupad is Drishtadyumna. Okay. Now Drishtadyumna was born of a sacrifice, especially to kill Dronacharya. Yeah. So that's why he said, expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple, the son of Drupad. That son was born to kill him, Dronacharya. Yeah. And there's a story behind that. Now, yeah, so he could have mentioned Drishtadyumna directly, but he didn't. He said the son of Drupad. You get the idea? Because he's born to kill you. So you better get ready, kind of thing. Now, the story is that Drupad and Drona, let me see, so they, as a young princes, or they were when they was young, they attended the same Gurukul. Okay. Now Dronacharya came from a relatively poor Brahmin family, and Drupad was a prince set to inherit the kingdom. This is when they was young boys, you know, and they was in a Gurukul together. So they both developed a wonderful relationship with each other, a wonderful friendship that they both developed with each other, despite their different backgrounds, you know. So at one point, Drupad he said, I promise you, my dear friend, that when I inherit the kingdom, I will give half of you the kingdom. So that's the friendship that they had. So time came to pass and they left Gurukul. And Drona, he was in a very difficult situation. His child was, he was married and his child was crying for food or milk. He could hardly afford to feed his young children. He's a young child. So then he remembered the friendship he had with Drupad, who's now inherited the kingdom. So he went to go and see his friend, and he went to beg just one cow. Please, can you give me one cow? Yeah. So remember, they're good friends. So then Drupad said, who are you? And refused to. He said, how can we be friends? How can we be on an equal level? I am the king, and who are you? And he refused to give him anything, and he drove him out of his palace. So that really didn't go down with Dronacharya. So then,
Why he did like that for?
I don't know why he did like. You can ask him when you see him. Why did you do that for me? Yeah. Yeah. He was intoxicated with pride from being a king. Intoxicated, yeah. So an old friend coming who's a niggly brahmana, who doesn't not well to do, and he's asking me, yeah, because he knew he'd offered him half his kingdom. So he's being not so straightforward. He's making no. Yeah, you understand? He's just being diplomatic.
Like one of the you could be in an ashram together in a brahmacharya, and then one of the guys then becomes temple president or something.
You could say that.
No, I get it.
Now, yeah, so then later, as we notice the story unfolds, Dronacharya becomes the teacher of both the Pandavas and the Kauravas. Yeah. So he teaches them, and he's their teacher. So then it came to the end of their teaching, and so it was time to give Guru Dakshin. You follow this to give Guru Dakshin. So then Dronacharya, he said to the Kauravas, yes, please you go and capture Drupad and bring him back here. You understand? So go. So they went, but the Kauravas failed. Yeah, they were embarrassed completely, and worse embarrassment that they wasn't killed. They were sent back as being defeated with a tail between their legs. So then the Pandavas went, and they captured Drupad, and then they brought Drupad back, and they flung him down at the feet of Dronacharya. So then Dronacharya then took half the kingdom. So this really enraged Drupad. So what did Drupad do? He got some Brahmins and he did these sacrifices. And for the sacrifice, his motive is, I want a son who will kill Dronacharya. So from the sacrifice, amazingly, came from the sacrifice he was born. Came Dronacharya, came Drishtadyumna, yeah, Drupad's son. So destined to kill. And amazingly enough, Dronacharya knew this when Drishtadyumna came to his school to learn warfare. So this person who's coming has been born to kill me. He's coming to me to ask to be taught how to engage in warfare and kill. So Dronacharya teaches him. This is the benevolence of a Brahmin. Just like the sun, it spreads its rays everywhere. It doesn't have any discrimination. So Dronacharya, it's one of the amazing things about it. He actually taught Drishtadyumna the arts of warfare by which he might well be killed. Yeah, Mother Lisa.
But taking half of Drupad's kingdom, that's not very benevolent, is it? Because
once said
to be sort of just let that go.
Yeah, but Drupad's an interesting character. Dronacharya is an interesting character. He's a Brahmin, which means he's Brahmin, but also he's a teacher of the military arts as well. and he's got, you can say a bit Kshatriya, but it obviously really something that really had an effect on him, that actual exchange. So therefore he took half the kingdom. Yeah.
Drona asks for Eklavya's thumb also. So he knew how to do warfare, like he was not a
Say the story? Yeah.
In future there would be a personality Eklavya who used to practice warfare just by keeping Dronacharya's statue.
Yeah.
And then Dronacharya understand that he is not actually a religious person. So he should not engage in warfare. So he deliberately asks his thumb as Guru Dakshina so that he won't be able to.
From Ekalavya.
So he is a little
He's got a bit of a Kshatriya spirit in that Brahmin side as well.
Because he didn't want
We need
to defend Arjuna, because he was potentially going to be a better archer than Arjuna.
That's how modern people say. That's what was his intention. He saw Eklavya as an irreligious person. He was using it to kill animals.
Can you hear online these comments from the students?
Also, Prabhuji, he didn't give Guru Dakshina, right?
Can they hear?
No, he asks Drona like what Guru Dakshina I can give.
Oh, then he
And that's when he deliberately asked to give it.
Yeah, so first chapter, normally we can go right into Mahabharata. But just for this point, yeah, so this is why Drupada Putrena, yeah, Duryodan is very expert. So he's saying here, Drupada Drupena, yeah. Yeah. All right. So then we got well, what happened next? Yeah, this was happening yesterday. You have to bear with me. Sometimes it's just closing down this presentation, but okay. So now we go to 4, 5, and 6. We'll try and speed up, but it's just the first 3 verses, and so we'll try and so is mentioned here. He mentions in his own army. So he's mentioned here in his army there are many heroic bowmen like equal in fighting the Bhima. He mentions Bhima, okay. Great Maharati. So Maharati, we mentioned that some of these troops they have the ability to fight with or just less than 1 archer. Then it goes up to Atirati. They can fight with unlimited. That one person can fight with unlimited archers. A Maharati, they can fight alone with 10,000 archers. And then you got above that, unlimited. So that's Arjuna. Who else is on that level? Arjuna, Karna. Not so many. But yeah, so Bhishma. So he mentions Dhritarashtra. Yeah. Yeah, so there are some very powerful warriors, and this is the side of the Kauravas, okay? Equal in fighting to Bhima and Arjuna. And so this mentions Kasiraj, Purajit, Kuntiboja, Shaiba, etc. Many others are mentioned. So all these warriors are great chariot fighters, yeah. Now Bhima specifically equal in fighting to Bhima. Now, why? The reason he said that, equal in fighting to Bhima, because Bhima represents a serious concern for the Kauravas. Yeah, so he's using again political veneer here. Equal in fighting to Bhima. All right, really? Now Bhima, he had made 3 vows, as we know. You might know, yeah. So
question: why the different font colors highlighting in the verse text?
Why
the different colors highlighting the verse text?
I don't know. This is the way why is it different colors?
Yes, the question.
I don't know. Oh no, that's just so I understand. That's just to make it easier for you to read, to like grab your attention. There may not, yeah. That's just the way they've done it to make us, so it's, yeah. It's not as if the Ratha, yeah. Okay. Okay, now, now Duryodhana is especially afraid of Bhima's fiery temperament, as you know. Bhima was furious with Dhritarashtra's sons, so he took 3 vows. First, he vowed to kill each of Dhritarashtra's 100 sons, to kill every single one of them. And that's what he did. And even when the Pandavas had an opportunity to kill one of the sons of Dhritarashtra, they would not kill them. They would leave them for Bhima to kill. Bhima killed. He made a vow to kill every single one, and also for good measure to drink their blood. Now, Bhima was so ferocious, so that even the warriors on the Pandava side feared him. Yeah. Now he was so a powerful, like here. Also, yeah. Yeah, he screamed and jumped up and down and drank the blood of each of the son of Dhritarashtra he killed. All right. He wasn't. Was he vegetarian? Not during the Battle of Kurukshetra, that's for sure. And then he vowed also to break Duryodhana's fire. To break Duryodhana's fire. Fire. And the reason, because when Draupadi, she was insulted, and he arrogantly said, "Come and sit on my fire. Come sit, lady, on my fire." And so he vowed. Yeah, he vowed to break not just the Bhima, but for 13 years, Bhima has been burning with anger to attack the Kauravas. Yeah, even he didn't want to stay in the forest, and he chided Yudhisthira for being a eunuch, for keeping us away from not fighting. So Yudhisthira had to preach to him. Now the time is not right. So he would sit there and crush rocks in his hand, thinking of revenge. So here's the so this is Bhima. So for them to say equal in fighting to Bhima, or perhaps you got Bhishma, but so yeah, so then he made a 3rd vow, if that's not enough. He made a 3rd vow to tear open that the person who tried to disrobe Draupadi was Dushashan. Yeah. So he vowed to, you ready for this? To pry out his heart and drink his blood. You know? Yeah. Because he had touched and opened Draupadi's hair. Yeah. And so for that, Bhima vowed to rip off his arm, rip out his arm. You shouldn't laugh, it's quite frightening, isn't it? And then Draupadi had promised to keep her hair untied until she had washed it with Dushashan's blood. Okay, so she's a Kshatriya, okay? Yeah. Bhima later did that. He fulfilled all of his promises. Yeah. So he was yeah. Now here. No, here. So Duryodhana's naming all these fighters, why? To persuade Dronacharya to free himself from whatever, because Dronacharya loved the Pandavas, because they were his student, and his favorite student was Arjuna. So Duryodhana is naming all of these so that Dronacharya can give up all that and fight. Yeah. So he's been very diplomatic here. Yeah. So he could fight the Pandavas and actually kill them. Yeah? Okay, so then it goes on here.
One quick side point.
Please, yeah.
Was Dronacharya aware that Drishtajumna could later on possibly kill him?
Yes, he was. That's the point. He was fully aware, but still he took him into his Gurukul.
So that's the honorable one, isn't it?
That's the Brahmin. That's a good example of a Brahmin. He just, yeah, that's his duty is to teach. Yeah, that's what's intriguing about Dronacharya. Yeah. But who actually killed Drona?
So he only did, but
Arjun.
like
Arjun killed Dronacharya.
Arjuna killed, but he was helped by
Head by
just a
actually Krishna, yeah, and Krishna asked to announce that Ashwatthama is dead,
Oh yeah, that whole
and that was the name of the elephant.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, good. Okay. Yeah. So today's going to be a bit of a Mahabharata, okay? Second chapter will probably come next week, okay? So number 7, but for your information of best of the Brahmins, let me tell you about the captains who are specially qualified to lead my military force. Yeah. So then he says there are personalities like you, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwatthama, etc. They're always victorious in battle. There are many heroes who are paid to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are well equipped and experienced. So Duryodhana was speaking to 2 great warriors, Bhishma and Dronacharya. Yeah. Now, while the king addressed Dronacharya, all these other fighters gathered to listen. So he's speaking, he's addressing Dronacharya, and everyone else is listening. So again, Duryodhana is an expert diplomat. So he begins to describe the Kaurava's strength. Bhavan Bhishmastakarnas cha. So Bhishma was the commander-in-chief of the army, and Drona is the military guru. Who should he mention first, Bhishma or Drona? Yeah. So Duryodhana was clever. So this is politics and intrigue. He knew that Bhishma was a Kshatriya and Drona a Brahman. If he mentioned Bhishma first, Drona would be insulted. As a Kshatriya, however, Bhishma would honor the etiquette of offering the Brahmana more respect. Therefore, Duryodhana said, Bhavan Bhishmash. There are personalities like you, trying to, like you, Dronacharya and Bhishma. So he's very diplomatic. He's trying to encourage, like this. All right. And there's some of those, so we've got to move on a bit. Yeah. Yeah, and there's something else here. This I'll just bring out this as well. Now, before the Battle of Kurukshetra, actually both Krishna and Duryodhana were quite active in diplomacy in getting different clans to be on their side. It's the same as what goes on now. Yeah, there's a war between 2 countries, and the diplomats they're visiting all different countries. They're making speeches. They're trying to get one particular military on their side. That's what happens before war. Yeah. So who's going to choose whose side? So this was going on before the Battle of Kurukshetra. Described that the earth was nearly shaking with warriors moving from different sides of Bharata. Yeah. And here, an interesting here, it was, now Salya, he was, they was Salya and his army, massive army, they were on their way to join the Pandavas, being close to the Pandavas. So they had to travel a long distance. Now, Duryodhana happened to know that Salya and his army were going on a certain route on the way to join, so we know the Mahabharata, to join the Pandavas. So he arranged a great reception and accommodation. Duryodhana arranged for a great reception for this massive army. So this army came, they had night entertainment, dancing and wine and everything and refreshments. And So the army became so, the stallion became so pleased. They said, we will do, who's the one who's arranged this? We will do anything for them. And guess who stepped out? Duryodhan. Actually, it was me. So then Duryodhan asked them to join his side. So that's what they did. Yeah. So sometimes Kshatriyas are not so concerned of whose side they're on. They just want to fight. You know, so it's like that. So Salya and his army ended up fighting against the Pandavas just because he given his word. Yeah, someone is muting on. So the many other heroes who paid to lay down their lives for my sake, all of them are well equipped with different kinds of weapons and all experience from military science. What time did we stop last week? 12 o'clock, wasn't it? So we'll have a break in 5 minutes, okay? We'll stop until 12:15. And okay, let's try and push it. Yeah, no, go to verse 10. Now here it comes up here. Our strength is immeasurable. We are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma, whereas the strength of the Pandavas, carefully protected by Bhima, is limited. Okay. Yeah. Now, Srila Prabhupada, as you see on the slide here, he translates the first Sanskrit word as apayaptam, which is immeasurable. And then his purport, if you read Prabhupada's purport, he's going to explain it in that light. So then now Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, he gives it another angle. He says apayaptam has given opposite meaning. So it depends on which way the word is taken. So the first line can either mean as strength is immeasurable or as strength is insufficient. Now, Prabhupada used the first meaning. So the sentence means we are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma. Yeah. So Bhishma becomes encouraged when he heard this meaning. So Duryodhan took the second meaning as he understood Duryodhan's message to be our strength is insufficient because of Bhishma's split loyalties. Don't forget, Bhishma is a beloved grandfather of the Pandavas. Yeah? Bhima has no split loyalties. Bhima's focused on his mission to kill all the sons of Dhritarashtra. Yeah? Bhishma might hold back in the fighting. Yeah? So therefore, Drona is making it hard to make up for Bhishma. Therefore, the expert diplomat Duryodhan encouraged both Bhima, both Bhishma and Drona with this one word. Again, this is his diplomacy, diplomatic, yeah. So it's our strength is immeasurable, and we are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma, whereas the strength of the Pandavas carefully protected by Bhima is limited. Right? So Bhishma. Okay, let's stop there. Let's stop there for 15 minutes, okay? Let's have a little break. Hare Krishna. So please join us again in 15 minutes and we'll continue. We're hoping we should finish this chapter today. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
You shared that